Quietly behind the scenes, Nebraska transfer portal recruiting has been going to work. The Huskers are expected to land a brand new player next week. So in today's video, I'm going to go over who this guy is, what position he plays, and everything else you need to know. And then I'm going to give you updates on the running back position, what's going on there, the defensive line, a couple other positional groups I have my eyes out for, what Matt Rhule's philosophy is going into the summer for the portal, a camp that I have my eyes on, and so much more. This is a loaded update, but before we get into all of it, please hit that like button if you're fired up, because I know I am. And really quick, if you support the channel, it would make my day. If you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're unsubscribed, what are you waiting for? Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about Nebraska and the transfer portal, because quietly behind the scenes, this staff has been going to work trying to add a couple extra players to this team going into the fall. Now, I want to get things started with what Matt Rhule announced just about a week ago, is that we will land a player on June 1st. It will be announced who Nebraska's starting punter will be through the transfer portal. Now, I've obviously been trying to do some detective work here. He did not give us a name. They haven't released this publicly. I think I found the player who Nebraska has landed at that punter position, and I'll say this, it's not a transfer. So he's not going to show up on these on-3 rankings. He's not going to show up on 24/7. I could be wrong, but through my detective work, I think I found this guy. It's obviously an Australian punter. It's a guy who's a rugby style guy. It's a player who's never actually played college football before. They're pretty much bringing him in from Australia in the expectations that he's going to come in and compete to start right away alongside Camden Cook, our other punter on the roster. So it's going to be announced on June 1st. Again, I think I found him. I don't want to give you guys his name because there's a reason why they haven't announced his name yet, because I feel like another college program is going to steal him. But June 1st is when they're going to get his paperwork through and obviously get him through with the university. So again, the expectation, Australian punter who's never really played college football before. There are some concerns there, right? It takes time to develop sometimes at that punter position, but hopefully, man, he can come in with his boomer leg and start right away, and we'll have no problems. He can be Tory Taylor 2.0. So a little bit concerned there, but we'll see what happens on June 1st. I think I found him, but I could be wrong. I could be way off, but we do know this for a fact. It is going to be an Australian guy. It's going to be a rugby punter, and that's a good thing because rugby punters have been superior in college football for the last decade. Nebraska's finally getting on that trend. So that's the expectation. Watch out June 1st. There will be an announcement, and the second that announcement drops, you know where to go. It'll be on WilsonDittman Sports. We'll talk about that and what that means for the program. So let's talk running back, because I've received a lot of questions. What's going on at the running back position for Nebraska? Are we still planning on taking one? I told you guys very early on, Nebraska's going to be very selective at the running back position. It's the same way they were with DB last year. Like, they knew going into the summer they needed a defensive back. The defensive back room just wasn't very good. And they waited, and they found Sear Wright, and they added him in late June. Okay, we're sitting here in late May. So they might not add a transfer running back until July, until late June, but I truly believe they're going to take one. Now, I will say this. The Emmett Johnson contract screwed them. They would have took a transfer running back, but I told you guys very early on, when they brought Emmett Johnson back, they made him some deals. They gave him obviously $300,000. That's the number. They told him that he would split carries with Dante Dowdell at minimum. Now, obviously, Dante Dowdell is not with the program, and then they ensured him that they weren't going to take a running back transfer. Now, I'm not sure if that last part was still in play, obviously, after Dante left, but that Emmett contract really screwed him over. Like, they made some deals with him to stay because that's how much they valued him coming back. That's why we didn't get Shamar Brown, because we wanted him, but we couldn't pay him as much as Miami's paying him, and they were paying him a lot more. So, like, we really didn't have a chance with Shamar Brown. So I saw that say this. I think Nebraska will still take a running back. I'm putting all. I truly believe they will. I'm not going to go away from that take. I do believe Nebraska can take a running back because I think they'd be irresponsible not to. It's not a good running back room. It's just not. It's objectively not a great running back room. And Quinn Ives, while he might have had a good spring practice, he got banged up in the final 2 weeks. He didn't play in the final 2 weeks. Jamarion Parker got banged up all of spring practice. He didn't play. Mekhi Nelson was off and on. So there's injury concerns there too. I just think they'd be really irresponsible. I think the coaching staff wants a running back. I saw that said this, they're going to be selective. And we'll talk about this as the video progresses, because there's a way they're going to find a running back that we'll talk about as the video goes on. But I think they're going to take a running back. It's just probably not going to be a big name player. But I will say this, grad transfers can enter at any point. So the players that are in the portal now, probably they're not going to land them. They might land a grad transfer who enters this month, next month, we'll see. As for defensive line, I can safely tell you, I do not think Nebraska is going to land a defensive lineman at this point in time. They wanted a defensive lineman early on in the transfer portal process. They offered a bunch of guys. They offered the guy obviously coming in from UNC, a couple other prospects there. They offered a guy from Buffalo on the D-line. So they were interested in adding another edge rusher, particularly as a 3 technique, which I think is a good move because we really lack pass rushers on the D-line. But I think, honestly, they were pleasantly surprised with how the D-line performed in spring ball. A lot of guys broke out, like a Williams-Nwaneri, played a lot better than people expected. Jalen George, obviously, when he comes back from injury, he's expected to be in the mix. So while I believe they wanted a defensive lineman at the time, I don't know if they land one. We'll see. We'll see. And there's one thing that, again, we'll talk about in just a second, that they could identify defensive linemen and say, okay, we're going to take one when it's all said and done. So that brings me to this that was just announced by Nebraska a couple days ago, that Nebraska will be hosting a transfer portal camp on June 19th. Will be from noon to 2 p.m. It'll also be with postgraduates. So there's also going to be guys who are just graduating high school. This is a very important event. I know a lot of people, they might have skipped by this. They might have thought, oh, this isn't a big deal. This is a big deal for Nebraska because they did the exact same thing last year. And Nebraska landed 3 players from this camp alone. They landed David Hofkin, they landed Jalen Gramstad, and they landed Mekhi Nelson. So they did this thing last year. They landed 3 brand new players. I expect it to be the exact same way this year, where they're going to have post-grads come here who are kids coming out of high school. They're going to have some, D2 transfers come in, D3 transfers who might have phenomenal stats, but we just haven't seen them on film. And if they ball out and impress the staff, they're going to bring them in. So this is how I honestly think we're going to find a running back. Is there might be a D2 running back who played at Bemidji State or something. He comes in here, runs, just runs all over the field. He ran for many yards last year for them. And we identify him and say, hey, we want to bring you in. That's how they're going to find the running back. It's not going to be this high-profile guy coming in from Texas A&M. It's not going to be a guy coming in from Oregon. It's going to be one of these lower-level guys who they think, okay, we're going to give you a shot. That's how they're going to probably find a defensive lineman as well. Like, I could still see him take a defensive lineman in that aspect the same way they did with David Hofkin. They could add somebody just who's completely random. They could add a wide receiver, honestly. Like they wanted a wide receiver in the portal. They wanted to land 4 when DeKel Shorts got here. They wanted to get Harley Gilmore and Jonah Wilson. Obviously, Jonah Wilson didn't end up coming, and then Harley Gilmore got kicked off the team. I could see him at a wide receiver. So I still have to say this. This is something that's going to be a very important event. It's going to be a very, very important event. Nebraska, there's going to be some under-the-radar players who show up, ball out, impress the staff, and they might get an offer to come on the team immediately. And there might be a postgraduate player who shows up, who's a kid coming out of high school the same way Mekhi Nelson did last year, balls out, impress the staff. They found a hidden gem, and boom, he's on the team. So I could see pretty much any player of any position be added through this, but I'm particularly looking out for running back and defensive line because that's going to be something I have my eyes out for. So again, when it's all said and done, I think Nebraska, they will land probably I'd say probably 2 or 3 players before the fall season. Again, that's what they do every year. They try to add some guys in the summer. So I'm very confident saying they're going to land 2 or 3 guys. Still have my eyes out for running back. I know there's going to be a punter for sure. That's obviously going to be on June 1st. We'll see what happens besides that. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Hey, if you made this far on the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go be good. Go Met Roll. See you in the next one.